How are you doing, Susan?
We're back again. We wouldn't miss it. And you guys have missed a lot if you haven't been following us. And you know how to do it. Just search for Bachelor Happy Hour in the podcast app. Hit the follow button. We have had so much fun. We've talked about our surgeries. We've talked to Jonathan. I mean, we've had some good episodes.
If you found us, if you're listening to us today and you haven't followed us, I don't know. I'm not sure why. So make sure you do that. And if you follow
questions.
us, I know, I don't get it. There's just, it's one of the...
I think a lot of them are, Kathy, don't you? I mean, we read them every week.
So what they have to do now is tell all their friends to go and find us under Bachelor Happy Hour.
Yes. And we might just have you on one day.
All right. So we've got some great questions today. But, Susan, first we have to sometimes, and today's one of those days, play Moral Quandary. No, just kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
Not. I'm going to start this, okay?
Question of the day. Question of the day. Okay.
I hate that game, as you all know. Okay, here we go. What was the transition into being a real adult like for you? Living on your own for the first time, managing your own finances. What advice do you have for young people that are about to make that transition themselves soon?
Wow.
First thing comes to mind is my father.
Oh, tell me why.
Because I used to spend an entire paycheck on a pair of shoes. And he'd said, Susan, I don't care if you're not making good money, but every single time you make money, you have to put a little bit away.
Oh, see,
prepare for
you and I are
future.
so different. First of all, as everyone knows, I got married to my husband when I was 20 years old. In puberty, right. So for me, being a real adult, I mean, I went from college and I subsequently graduated, but at the time I was married, I hadn't finished. And I remember, and this sounds bizarre, but I was thinking about this last night. When my husband and I got our first apartment, I would just clean it top to bottom every day. I loved going shopping. Like, I loved taking on all those roles of an adult because I didn't cook at home. I still don't cook, but I tried when I first got married to learn how to cook. And I think when people, for those of you who are, contemplating going out on your own, I think Susan has a great point. You have to remember to save and budget. That's a big one, especially in today's world.
Kids are different today. I mean, the advice that we received and the advice that we give, basically, it's the same structure, but they do things way different today.
Well, I think a lot of kids live at home a lot longer than
they certainly do. They certainly do. But
I
the
think
advice you
hard.
have to realize where every penny goes. You have to. I'm not a budget kind of person. Some people.
Oh, really?
are,
what was your first clue?
Look at how much you're making, what you can afford, and still have luxuries in life, and still be able to do things. Don't be mortgage poor, if you will. But the first time out is like so exciting.
It is.
It's
And you know what?
place,
You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to spend too much on something and not have enough for something else. But I really do think learning to budget the money you have, whether you're working, 12 hours a day at minimum wage, or, you've lucked into some fabulous career with a great salary, you still have to budget.
And if you want this, it's coming, maybe wait a little longer because you're always supposed to have 6 months worth of rent or / mortgage in the bank in case of an emergency.
I thought it was 6 months of living expenses, total, like food and electricity and all those things.
You can add all that up. They'll never leave. I mean,
Susan would still be living at home.
I used to tell my kids at a certain point after college when they were still here, okay, you have to pay rent. They're like, what? I said, just, it wasn't a lot. It was not a lot. And I kept it in an envelope.
And then you
in
gave
my
it
little
back?
safe. And when they were ready to go, they go, Mom, are you going to help us out? You're going to help us out? We're getting our own place. I said, yeah, I have every penny you ever gave me.
Yeah,
my one son knew immediately. Christopher goes, what? That's nothing. I go, no shit.
I think parents can do a lot to help here too. I don't think I think kids who have never had any responsibilities or that kind of thing, they haven't like my kids had cars that we gave them to drive, but they had to help pay for the insurance. They had to help pay for the gas because I think if
pay for the gas is on them.
I'm sorry. I'm saying. No, I meant help pay for the expenses of the car. So I think sometimes parents, and I'm guilty of it too, we want to do so much for our kids that we actually stunt them learning how to manage. We still
pay for some of the car insurances. Dickie does, I know. It's crazy.
So
it's crazy.
So it's fun. It's fun getting out on your own.
It is. You get to decorate the way you want it, not the way your mom has it, you know?
Yeah. I loved all those things.
Laundry.
I loved saving up and buying, a duvet for my bed or shopping. I mean, I did a lot of secondhand stuff. When I was married, we didn't have any money. My husband was in graduate school. I remember we lived in one apartment that didn't have closets. And it had closets. Sorry, it didn't have closet doors. So I went and bought at a Target discounted whatever sheets, and I sewed them to make a cover. And I was so proud of myself,
Or beads. Back in that day, we could have used beads like
That's
hippies.
right.
Oh my goodness. All right, you ready, Kat? We're going to give some advice time.
All right. You want me to start or you
want
to start?
Ones today. I'll start today. So Anonymous asks, hi, ladies. My fiance and I recently got engaged and we're so excited. Due to our beliefs, our plan has been to move in together after we are married. But if I'm being honest, I'm starting to get really anxious about that. Neither of us have ever had roommates before because we've always lived at home. Do you think we should consider moving in before the wedding? We just got engaged. So we won't be getting married for at least another year. What do you think is best for our relationship? We will be fine if we don't move in together until we're married. Thanks.
Will we be fine? Yes, you'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, well. I mean, they've done it like that for centuries. Although the modern way, I think living together is not a bad thing prior to the wedding.
But Susan, I know so many people that of my age and my daughter, my kids' age, they moved in together and it
decided not to get married.
Well, no, it was fine until they got married and then it blew apart. I don't think living together necessarily is the prescription for a good marriage. So if you guys have made the decision to not live together until you're married, marriage is an adjustment and living together is an adjustment, and you're gonna go through it. So,
And then what about if you decide to move in with them and your parents and everybody's paying for this wedding and it's not working?
Right.
Now,
so,
how do you pull that off?
I mean, that's creating a scenario that, is likely
I would,
to
however,
happen.
take a vacation with them, spend a weekend somewhere together, see what it's like waking up next to this person every day.
Yeah. But you will be fine. The question is, will we be fine? And you will absolutely be fine. Anonymous. It just takes time to.
We wish you luck.
Yeah. Everyone takes time to get to know each other and work it out. You will work it out.
To make planning the perfect beach vacation easier, Beachbound launched the perfect
romantic, platonic, familial that capture every moment together.
It's Identity Theft Awareness Week, which means plans include the $1 Million
the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn.
Hear your thoughts on something that happened with my.
Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/iHeart.
All right, let's go with the next one. Anonymous from New Jersey writes, hi, Kathy and Susan. I'd love to hear your thoughts on something that happened with my mother-in-law about a year ago. During my birthday celebration at home, she was quite rude and dismissive towards both my parents, siblings, and me. It was really awkward. She didn't greet anyone, and things turned hostile midway through the celebration. My family has always treated her with kindness and class, and it was disappointing to see her behavior. My husband addressed it with her a few days later, but she just criticized everyone instead of taking responsibility. Since then, I've felt distant and can't trust her anymore. I've talked to my husband about my feelings, and I'm trying to move past it, but it's tough. Once someone disrespects my family, it's hard for me to maintain respect. Kathy, I know you've dealt with a similar situation with your mother-in-law. What are your thoughts on this, and how would you approach moving forward? Well, Actually, I was thinking about my situation the entire time I was reading this, Anonymous. And it is, I'm going to tell you, it's really tough. What you don't want to do is put your husband in the middle of it, because that just doesn't go well. That's his family, and he knows his mother's shortcomings. My mother-in-law did not like me. I had very difficult sister-in-laws. One was great. One was, a sweet one. The other one was very difficult. And my husband knew it. So, and they did criticize my family. And you know what I did? I saw her as little as possible. I kept my distance. I made sure I made time for the kids. On summer vacation, we would go and see them. But honestly, a 10-day vacation with them, I was tearing my hair out by the end. So honestly, there's no good answer other than do your best to be polite and respectful, and don't get into a fight with her. Just, take a walk. Say, I'm going to go out and take a walk. And just realize how lucky you are to have your family and your husband.
And I don't know that I would invite her to everything anymore. If that's how her behavior is going to be, then we don't want you to be there.
Well, but you got to remember, first of all, my in-laws blessedly didn't live near me until later in their life. And my husband and I, to be clear, my husband and I took care of not his sisters, not their daughters. It was my husband and I who took care of my mother-in-law. So I think if she lives very close to you, that makes it a little more difficult to not invite her.
She doesn't live in her house. If she's going to treat my family rudely, then next year's celebration, you're not invited.
What are you going to say to your husband? That's going to cause a problem.
Well, her husband, see, what I don't understand, she says my husband addressed it with her a few days later, but she just criticized everybody instead of taking responsibility. So that means it's not going to change.
It's not
going to change.
But it's his.
So don't have her there.
Well, I think it's...
Unless you can treat people with respect, then... you still got to be her daughter-in-law. You go through the motions. It's a shame because she ruined a relationship, I think.
That's right. And that, unfortunately, Anonymous, happens a lot. And I will tell you, I work my tail off to be kind to my son-in-law and my daughter-in-law because I want to spend time with them. So those of you out there who are struggling with your in-laws, be nice. Be nice to your daughter-in-law and your son-in-laws. Be nice because... bite your tongue. And Anonymous, I hope it gets better for you. It's just tough.
And don't attack your husband over it. You know what I mean?
That's what I said.
Stay on the same page.
Because your husband, it's his family. It's hard. I wish you luck.
Okay, we have a lot of Anonymous today. Here's another one. I just turned 64 and have scheduled a breast reduction surgery for next May. I am nervous, but have wanted to do this for a long time. I have been told about all the complications, etc., to having surgery, as well as the good. I was thinking I was too old, but since I always have to muddle through negative first to get to the positive, I am rethinking my decision to go through with the surgery. How has your surgery gone? What negatives have you experienced, and are you happy so far with the results? Thank you for listening, and I love listening to you ladies. Always such good advice. Anonymous, I wish I could address you by name. It is the best thing ever to do for yourself. To be perfectly honest with you, I am 67, and this is my second breast reduction. What happens is after menopause, we put on a few pounds, and your boobs get bigger. They just do.
Yeah. I will tell you, Anonymous, I had a breast reduction done about 22 years ago. I never ever. I can't speak for Susan's situation. She had a little more pain than I did. I had no pain except the drains, and Susan didn't even have drains. No. They put drains in me, and that was a little sticky for a few days. That wasn't the most fun.
But
it was sore. But if you want to do it, it will make you feel good about yourself. Do it for yourself. You're going to come through the surgery. It's like, all I can say to you, Anonymous, it's like reading a Tylenol bottle, right? It'll tell you all of the possible, the possible difficulties and complications you can have. But you know what? 99.5% of people come through it just fine. And you're not unlucky enough to be that 5%.
You asked me what negatives have I experienced. Absolutely none.
Right.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Really good.
Susan can see her toes now. So good
I
luck
just didn't
with
want
that.
to see my stomach before my breast.
There you well, but good luck.
But good luck to
do
you,
it and let us know how it goes.
The only other thing that I noticed that when she wrote, I am the kind of person that look for the benefits and the positives first.
Well,
then
she'll get there.
I look at those negatives, but she's
Yep.
dwelling on those
That's
negatives
okay.
first.
That's okay, Anonymous. Get to the positive quick. Just get there, do it. You'll be glad you did.
She's wanted to do it for a long time.
Yeah.
You should do it.
All right. Well, let us know how it goes.
Yes.
All right. The next one is from Kennedy, which, by the way, I don't know if Kennedy is a boy or a girl. It's a girl. It's a woman.
Okay.
And
Okay.
my daughter, little known fact, Susan, I don't think you know this. My grandmother's last name, she was a Kennedy, and I was going to name Caitlin Kennedy,
Oh,
but I didn't. All right.
you didn't. So
I didn't. Hi, Kathy. But it's not the common name. Hi, Kathy and Susan. I've listened to every episode that you have aired. It is an absolute blast listening to and following along with you all. Well, thank you so much.
Glad you're writing in then. Yes. Go ahead.
I recently got married a couple of months ago. Congratulations. My husband and I have been together for a while, although we saved sex for marriage. Recently, we haven't been intimate as much as the first few months of marriage. I am truly exhausted from work, a teacher, and other life things like keeping physically fit, errands, cooking. My husband has a very difficult work schedule and expectations than me. That does not make sense. I think he has different expectations from her. Okay. We've had conversations about this, but my husband is having a very difficult time with it. How normal is it for newlyweds to not be intimate every day, every other day? Should we be worried? What advice do you have? This is so easy, Kennedy, for me. Whatever works for the two of you is what's normal. And if your husband wants sex more than you do, I'm going to be honest with you. There's sometimes that it's not going to be the most long romantic interlude that we think of when we have sexual. Sometimes it's just going to be wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and making your husband, go to sleep.
Keeping your husband satisfied. Is that
Right.
what they say, Kathy?
And sometimes it's going to be the best sex you've ever
But
had.
you know what? You can also talk about like what you're telling us, not to schedule it, but like we go back to date night. Like there's 1 or 2 nights out of the week, you're going to go out and be romantic. And
Well,
If he
she's a
just needs
teacher, so I'm
quickie,
guessing she's not going out during the week.
maybe just wants a quickie, take care of him in the morning. I don't know.
I'm saying sometimes it is just a quickie, but I think the biggest thing here is I know you're exhausted and you want to keep physically fit, but I'm telling you, you have to put intimacy. It's an important element of marriage. So, you know what? Pick up the dry cleaning next week and have sex for 10 minutes. I mean,
you know what? Just try kissing, making out, and you both might
Susan
feel
and the
differently. Do that little French kiss thing after
we had
dinner,
in a
you're
recent
too
episode,
tired.
we talked. Go
You're
ahead.
too tired to have sex. If you start making out with him, that will change. Then you might want it every day, every other day.
Well, Kennedy, good luck. Let us know. But seriously, let some of the errands go. Take some time for your husband and their relationship because that's what really matters.
To make planning the perfect beach vacation easier, Beachbound launched the perfect beach.
Romantic, platonic, familial that capture every
Visit MODO.US for the best free. Touch the hem of the garment and hit knock.
Going to spend the last 20 minutes playing more.
The grand opening of 5-Iron Golf in the North Loop. We'll see you there for...
All right, Susan, we are switching things up today. We're
Good,
going
no
to spend the
moral
last
quandary.
20 minutes playing moral quandary instead
No,
of
we're
10
not.
minutes. All right. We're instead of a game to end this episode, we have some updates from some listeners that we are dying to read. I'll start off with the first
paying
one.
attention, Kathy.
I know,
Don't
I
we
love
say
it.
that after every time we read a question.
I
Please
love
let
it.
us know. All
So
right,
here we
cool.
go. Here's the first one. On our episode, Get Out There, Girls, Tanya wrote to us about struggling with being an empty nester and was looking for advice on what her and her husband can do now. Here's her update. Susan and Kathy, first and foremost, I love you both, and your podcast is one of my absolute favorites. I tune in every week. Well, thank you so much, Tanya. I wrote you several months ago, struggling with empty nesting. I remember this question. Do you, Susan? I do too. Struggling with empty nesting since my adult children have moved out of the house. I wanted to give you an update. You aired my question on your podcast and encouraged me to find, experience new things. My husband and I started a bucket list of weekly activities, which consists of trying new restaurants, weekend getaways, and just learning to enjoy one another.
I love this.
I love it too. I would love to report that we are having the best time and now enjoying this new season of our lives. Thank you both. Oh my gosh, I have goosebumps, truly.
So awesome.
Thank you both for encouraging all of us, showing us that life isn't over as we get older, and we each can find ourselves in the midst of life changes. We are not invisible. Yay, Tanya. We are not invisible, and our best days are not behind us, but they're right here in front of us. I love you both. I also really loved your episode with Jenny Garth. Thank you again.
Oh, I'm so happy.
That just makes my day.
It's true. It's very true.
And
like
Tanya,
we both say, Kathy, this is our best chapter, the last chapter.
And
you
the longest.
Yes.
And
we're hoping
Tanya,
it's the
you are
longest.
proving that getting up and doing things it's just fabulous. I'm so glad.
It is important because you find each other again.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, the kids are coming? For how long?
Yeah. Kids, we'd love to have you. We have a 3-day limit. You start stinking
we're
like
going
fish.
Out of town. Yes, we won't be here.
We won't be here. I do that to my daughter. It doesn't go
Oh my
well.
gosh, that's so awesome. Thank you so much for letting us know that. We have another one. Okay. This next one is from Sophie. We gave her advice on our episode Soothing the Sting, where her boyfriend refused to pay for things for her. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Here's her update.
I'm dying to hear this update.
Hi, Susan and Kathy. I wanted to update y'all about the situation with my boyfriend. We have worked things out over the past few months, and now he lives with his friends in their own college house. He always pays for my food whenever we go somewhere, and I try to as well when I can. He is very kind and understanding of my situation now. He helps me out in a lot now, and I love and appreciate him so much for that. I can't wait until I graduate and get a big girl job so I will be able to pay for us a lot more in the future. Thank you, ladies, so much for the advice. I loved it, and it really helped. My college roommates and I listened to it over and over again. We love you guys. Love Grace, Maddie, Kenzie, and Sophie. Okay, I'm a little... I have to address this right now.
You know what? Your
There's
brain
something
is
that
right where
didn't
my
sit
brain
well.
is. Yep. Go ahead.
I would love to know how the conversation went and what made him turn around. I'm glad he's seen the light. But when you sit here and say you can't wait to a big girl job so you can pay for more, it's not like I don't want you to pay for something. It's a great thing to do. But don't worry about that.
And
that was
so
the problem.
Susan, you and I are right on the same page here. Because Sophie, I was thinking, is this like a tit for tat guilt thing?
Yeah,
like I'm going to get a job, and then I've got a record here of everything you've paid for, boyfriend. And don't worry, because when I get a big girl job, I'm going to start paying for us. Don't do
promise
that, Sophie.
things.
Don't do that,
things.
Sophie. Don't do
You're
that.
doing good. We're glad you're happy. We're glad you took our advice. But
and I'm glad he's helping you with things. Take it slow.
He should.
He should.
More.
You're worth it, Sophie. And Grace, Maddie, and Kenzie, we love you
hi
too.
To all of you.
Hi to all of you, and write us in your questions. We'd love to answer yours as well.
Cool.
All right. Our last update for the day is from Renee. On our episode, Putting Yourself First, we gave her some advice on how to manage conflicting beliefs in friendships. Hello, Golden Ladies. Thank you so much for answering my question about different belief systems in friendships. After I submitted my question, my friend reached out to me. She asked a simple, "How are you?" And I was very honest, not filtering any aspects of my life, including my psychic reading business. We exchanged 10 or so messages, and she was brief in her replies and follow-ups. Never once did she address my business, even when it was the bulk of a text I sent. She just talked around it. It's clear to me that she's still not open to discussing not only this new business I've created, but my past and current lived experiences as a highly intuitive person. I'll continue what I've been doing and what y'all so compassionately advised, and keep focusing on my work, passions, and finding joy. If she's meant to stay in my life for another season, then things will change. If not, then I'll have my answer. Thanks again.
Yes, girlfriend. Yes, you did good.
Renee, I think, will you let us know if we ever want a reading? Because you said that you were more than happy to give us one, and I think that is so sweet.
I think I'm ready for a reading.
Are you ready for a reading?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I
she's
think
absolutely right. She's absolutely right. We were absolutely right. Can I just say?
Yeah.
It's okay. Not everybody's going to love everything you do, whether it's your business or your lifestyle.
Yeah.
But if you're meant to be friends, then they'll be friends. They don't have to talk about it. And I wouldn't force that on them.
Right.
Keep it.
Well, and
let's
also,
talk about other things.
as I said to her when we answered this before, some friends come into your life for a reason and a season. Yeah. Not everyone is meant to be in your life forever. And I think you're doing a great job of reaching out to her. And, you know, like Susan said, let it go. If you can be friends, great. If you can't,
and I'm
that's
glad you're
okay
happier
too.
for it. I really am.
And listen,
Thank
the
you.
reading I want, Renee, is when I'm going to meet my guy and when Susan's going to meet her guy. What do you think?
And is it going to be on TV, at the airport, at the grocery store, taking a
online, or all of the above?
Tell us that. Do we have to go back online? Kathy, let's talk about that for a minute. The other day I had an urge.
Oh.
And I pulled up the 10 best dating sites, and I've been on mostly all of them. I picked one randomly and I started to fill it out and I shut it down. I just can't bring myself to going there again. You and I, the sister, we are right there together. How else are you going to meet people? I don't know. I think I'm going to go stand. I don't know. You and I are both struggling with this right now. But we were talking earlier about lying about our age online. Mm-hmm. We both have a ton of energy. And, facelifts notwithstanding, we don't act or look our age. And we want to find someone who's active and enjoys life. And, it gets harder the older you get. If we're young in mind and spirit. So if anybody out there has some advice for us, you can submit that to us too. And we will read them out loud and talk about how we're going to follow that advice. I mean, maybe it is the answer. Maybe we just needed a couple of year break. My fear is going back on and seeing the same faces. You know what? Like, Susan, I swear you're reading my mind. No if I see the same guys, I know. It's not going to be fun. But in the meantime, that does it for this episode of Bachelor's Happy Hour's Golden Hour. Thanks for joining us, and a special thanks for you guys writing in and letting us know. We love answering your questions, and we truly do love hearing how your life is going. So please keep those updates coming, and make sure that you submit your questions to us. You know how to do it. You go to bachelornation.com/golden hour. Hit us up on social at Bachelor Happy Hour. Please reach out. We love hearing from you. It makes our day. Absolutely does. Listen to Bachelor Happy Hour's Golden Hour in the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good week.